Hello again, everybody. As you can see behind me, we've done a little bit more work since the live stream, and I'm going to show you a couple clips of how we got to this point. We got some iron and stuff cooking in those furnaces behind us, and we've done actually a lot of work on the base. So I'm going to do a quick tour, and then I'm going to show you where we were at overall. So as you saw last time, we set this little tin up on the live stream. This is to hide our pirate cove from any invaders or anyone who may be coming to search for us. At some point, we're going to have a frigate or a galleon built out here in the ship. Maybe one or two. We might put one here and then another one over there. I'm still working on the designs for those. We set up our little town sheep farm. We've got some black sheep in here so that we can get our pirate flag and everything set up. In here, we have our little wheat farm. It's not as fancy as I would like. We're going to make it bigger, but for now, all I got to do is push the button and it gets all the harvesting for us. Again, it's just a starter farm. And over here, hidden away in the corner, we have our enchanting setup. This is still a couple bookshelves short, but we're going to go explore and try to find some stuff for this at another time. We also have our field of copper that we've laid out. The 1.18 update makes it so that if you cut copper blocks, you can get 4 for every 1 copper you have. I believe it's only if you use a stone cutter though. And then we got some jungle wood so that we don't have to keep traveling way over there to get jungle wood and come back. These won't stay permanent. We're just using them to get jungle wood right now, and we'll switch them out later on. We've got our little pumpkin and melon farm over here as well. So that's kind of an update on where we're at. So let me show you how we got here. We're going to go through the live stream and pull a couple clips there and some other stuff I want you guys to see. I'll see you when we get back. Bye.
So the first thing I did was dig up some dirt for the wheat farm. I had the plan for the automatic farm, and it's going to expand and dig really into the mesa as the season continues, but for now I just have that little one that you guys saw in the starter clip. We're going to get the leather from the cows and the wool from the sheep and set up our pirate flag cove and everything out there. But for now, we're just starting with our little wheat farm and getting some wood and dirt to get everything started. So after we got back, we cleared our little space, set up for the wheat farm. We're just going to set it up right here for now. We do move it a little bit later, but we wanted to get a spot where we could get some wheat growing, get everything started so that we can continue breeding the cows, and make sure everything's ready for the next part of our plan. So I realized at this point that I did not have any water, so I had to jump all the way down, and I almost, no, it wasn't this one, it was a different time. There's another clip, I think, maybe in this one or maybe not, but there's another time where I jumped down and I landed and died. So I thought I could make that, and I did not. So I got some water, I went back up and got the farm all set up. As you can see here, we put in some of the potatoes, planted a couple of the seeds, messed up right here for a second and used the path instead of the hoe. Got really confused on why that did not work. So glad they allowed us to fix those little mistakes, and we're all set up on the little farm we started. Next up, we went and decided to go caving. So as you can see here, I'm heading off. I'm looking really for a mine shaft. Hoping we can find something where we can just get into it, dig around, and see what we can find. But as you'll see in the next couple of clips, that didn't happen. So I got in, I'm looking around. Sorry, it's so dark, but it's just kind of where it is right now. But I died, I ran away, and I died. And then I came back, and I got all my stuff, and I died. And I came back again, and I ran into the skeleton again, and I died. So I started running off again, but I changed my mind. I went back, I grabbed my bed, so I didn't have to run all the way back across the mesa, and I got set up. Finally got smart and decided to light it up as I went along. Ran into another skeleton friend, so I threw my shield at him. he didn't want to be friends though, so I had to figure out how to fight him. Again, down to 1 heart in the middle of the battle. It's never a good thing to start out with 1 heart. But I fought him for a minute, realized he's got buddies. Like, oh, we can take these guys, let's go. Oh, his friend shot him. Then we go over there. I discovered that there are actually more creatures over here. Coming around the corner here in a second, it's going to be a creeper, who also wants to be my friend. He wants to give me giant explosive hearts. I didn't want those, so ran away. Killed this creeper, and then that's kind of where I'm going to leave this cave. I actually decided that there's got to be caves closer than all the way across the lake that I was doing, so I grabbed some copper and I head out. So I went and found a new cave, and it's much closer to my base. It's actually right underneath it, and it's huge. I just have to be able to light it all up, and I guess you thought the dying was done after that last little montage. Well, here we go again. This is 1, and here comes number 2, and here's number 3. It was at this point I realized I had 6 iron left, and I wasn't going to try to go back in there anymore. So I make a new pick and axe, and I start off to find a new place to kind of look for stuff. I do actually end up back in that cave after I get some more iron and stuff and gear up. But that's kind of where we're at with that one. So I headed off, found a new cave right away, and started gathering resources. I got a bunch of coal, started making some torches, going around and trying to find what we could find here. There's definitely a lot of gold because we're in the mesa biome, so I grabbed all of that I can find and kind of get geared up. I realized that I can't go deeper and go fight all the skeletons and stuff that are further down without actually gearing up first. So I grab all the coal and gold that I can find and get back to work, gearing up and getting ready to go. And as you can see, this is kind of what I came back with from this first trip out. Not a lot of iron, but enough to get us kind of started. We're going to go from there. We've got a bunch of copper now, and we just got to keep mining. You'll see I'll suit up as soon as that iron's done and go back into the original cave I found over here and try to find some diamonds. I saw them right before I died at one point, so I got to go back down and get those. So went back into the cave, started looking around again, as you can tell. Just trying to get it lit up so that skeletons quit shooting me from above and below and pretty much everywhere in here. And what do you know, when we were up here, we came across some of these blue things right here, and those would be our first 2 diamonds. This is enough to kind of get us moving on the next part of this episode, which is my enchanting setup. So for the enchanter, I knew I kind of wanted to do something a little bit different. What I did was I came over kind of towards the side, and like I said, I'm trying to like hide where we are at on the mountain so that you can't just look in and see all the different structures and everything. So I thought I'd do kind of like an angle cut down into the mountain from here. So you'll see me here just kind of clipping everything out. And as we go through, we're going to go in and downward. And there we go. We've got it all set up. We're just adding a couple of lights. And we kind of got the room, at least the interior size done. Still trying to figure out where I want to put the enchanter. But we'll get to that later. I actually misplaced it here in a second. And I have to change it back a little bit later. I'm trying to figure out what the best angle is to come into the room and then go to the enchanter. Because you can't really go straight down onto it. The way it's set up here. So pop it down there for now, think okay, yeah, that looks good, and then I'll have to come back and I change it a little bit later on. Next up, I decide, you know what, iron doors look good here. It'll make the enchanter just kind of hide a little bit better in the cliffs. I really like what I did there. I walked inside and I realized I don't have another one, and I am now stuck. Luckily, I have my pickaxe, and I just kind of go out the side. But yep, we got that set up, and I go back and build another one to be able to hide inside of our little enchanting room, so that we can go back and forth, get in and out pretty easily. I did have to set up something on the inside because it wasn't high enough. When you walked in, you just kind of walked over the plank or the thing. So I got some buttons too because I thought, maybe I'll do buttons on the inside of it.
Now it's time to get started on the decorating for the enchanting room. It's a little smaller than I thought, so I have to adjust it a little bit, and I'll bring you kind of back in through the process as we go through here. So let me move this back, and we'll get started on the enchanting room. I'm starting off with the corners. I'm adding in jungle woods on the inside of this just to get kind of a frame for the entire room. We'll do it here, and then we'll do it over on the steps, on each of the corners of those steps, just so it looks like the room has some support as we're going through. The next thing I add in are the stairs, just to make it an easier way going up and down coming into this room. Want it to kind of look unique throughout. And again, I'm going to take that top row out and re-add jungle wood up there here in a minute. But I'll bring you back in again when I'm adding a different detail to the build. Finally, the last piece of the puzzle is the floors. And that kind of ties the whole room together. It gives you a nice look throughout, a nice atmosphere. I'm still going to do the walls in a different color. But for now, we're just going to kind of leave the jungle in here on the sides and then have the terracotta and stuff up on the walls. We'll see how that looks, and we got to get some bookshelves and everything else in here. But once that gets done, I'll have my enchanting setup all done for the